Welcome back to my Final Fantasy XIV drama series. Today's drama story is about Yes, Ma'am. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Chat, what do you think this is gonna be about? With a title, Yes, Ma'am. What do you think it's gonna be about? We're gonna get a southern man who talks to his lady, yes, ma'am. Is there a whipped emote? All right, let's begin. And then you can find out what it is. Yes, ma'am. Hi, Pathra. I'm a big fan of your videos. They help me out so much while I am relaxing on my days off and drawing away. I've been wanting to share one of my many stories with you for quite a long time. Let me tell you about my first interesting encounter in the game. A long time ago, I was going through a lot in my personal life. At the time, I was very young and started my new job. With my first paycheck, I bought a PlayStation 3 and was invited by my friends to play Final Fantasy XIV. I started out in Limsa as a female Mikote, and I felt so special being greeted by a bunch of people. I kept going on the game every day after work and on my days off. I managed to catch up to the end of Heavensward within a month, which was the end game at the time. I wanted to be a female Rain, wear pretty glamour, and get a house. I did all that. Let's go. My friends were hardcore raiders. The majority of their time on Final Fantasy XIV was spent queuing into Alexander Savage. I felt that I wasn't good enough to join them. The raiding scene looked quite intimidating to me. It was getting lonely standing at my FC house with my friends before they all disappeared into a fight for the rest of the evening. You see that, right? Like you're talking to all your friends, they're all in a party together and just all of them disappear right in front of you and you're like, now I'm left alone. What now? So I started to look into the more social aspects of the game. I saw a lot of Final Fantasy XIV artists on Tumblr. Don't judge me, please. I converted my Doctor Who blog into a Final Fantasy XIV blog. I started to dabble in screenshot editing and practice drawing my female Rain, which was painstaking. Like there was no G-pose. I had to time things right and press my camera into a wall to get decent close-ups. And I had to save screenshots into a USB so I could load them onto my PC to edit. Yeah, that would be pretty hard if you're trying to get screenshots from a PlayStation onto the PC. It was a lot of dedication and I enjoyed it so much, which led me to discovering the roleplay community, which was very tiny on my server. I started posting under the server tag about my character and managed to get a reply. Another roleplayer, who I will call McCree, invited me to an RP link shell. McCree started talking to me and asked how long I've been RPing. I told him I used to be a forum roleplayer, but never had I ever done an RP in-game. McCree was very generous, taking the time to reply to all my questions. I was very excited to have my first roleplay friend in the game to help me. We went to small gatherings together, and people would let me sit and watch. I was amazed at how fast and beautifully everyone typed. Does everyone do this? McCree said, yes, ma'am. Our characters started to be friendly bar buddies, and I tried my best to keep up with everyone. Out of character, we kept conversations on Tumblr. There were small talks here and there about what we enjoyed about the game, our character ideas, and what kind of RPs we were comfortable with. He always kept addressing me with ma'am, which I thought was interesting. I started to notice that he would wait around my house for me to get online, which was more interesting, but I was getting slightly suspicious about it. Waiting outside of your house until you go online, like he knows the times you get on? Dude, I'd be scared and creeped out a little bit. Then some of my friends invited me to play the endgame content with them. I told them that I felt terrible playing as a scholar and wanted to learn Dragoon, so I started leveling my Lancer quickly. As I was doing leaves and fates in the Shroud, I kept getting Moogle mailbox pings. I was given a high-quality gear set sent by McCree. I sent him a tell saying thank you. He didn't reply. I spent most of my time leveling my Lancer and then Marauder, which I had to get to level 15 to unlock Dragoon. The old day struggles. True. I remember when I had to play a little bit of Archer to get a skill for Thaumaturge. I noticed I kept getting more pings to my mailbox, even more gear sets that were made based on my current level and class. Holy stalker moly, he's watching OP's every move and giving like items as she levels. This kept happening throughout the day. It felt like I was closely being watched by McCree, so he could send me exactly the gear for the exact level I was on. This kept happening until I unlocked Dragoon. I politely told McCree to not send any more gear because I kept gear drops from dungeons when I was clearing through ARR. Why didn't you tell me earlier? Actually, I should say this in a southern accent. Why didn't you tell me earlier? I already made all the gears level 30 to 50. Now I gotta sell it all. Just sell the gear I already sent, thanks. He replied and logged off right after. I was trying my best to understand why he was upset, and young me felt I was being ungrateful to my new friend. I listened to what he said and sold the gear on my retainer. Did you like that? Pretty good accent? I thought I was gonna butcher it, really. I started to confide in my FC friends about it, and instead of comforting me, they all just started insulting role players. A lot of the raiders on my server looked down on it, so small meetups only happened in houses or small corners. People would go up to role players and harass them. I've seen people setting off abilities around them or standing right on top of them. They also made fun of people who couldn't tell the line between a game and reality. Oh, that's so mean. So like, she's basically saying a lot of raiders on her server back then just didn't like role players and would make fun of them. Damn, that's cruel too. McCree kept small convos on Tumblr with me while my job started to get busy around the holidays. New Year's was around the corner and I wanted to play the game again. During New Year's evening, I got a message from McCree. I asked him how his evening was going. He then replied, I need to get this off my chest. I need to tell you something important. This came out of nowhere. I care a lot about you, ma'am, he confessed. I was very confused as to what led to this. My conversations haven't been personal ones, just talks about roleplay and sharing character ideas. What do you mean? I replied. I really love you, he said. I stared at my phone and sighed heavily. Replying back to him, are you really confessing to me? How can you have feelings for me when you barely know me outside of a game? You don't know me, and I barely know you. I have no interest in dating anyone from the game. Please stop this. The convo fell silent, and I went to sleep. I was very annoyed. I didn't like that at all. I found it hard to find the right people to make friends. I only wanted a friend. It's a sucky feeling learning that the person you think wants to be around you to only date you. In the morning, I finally got a reply from him. Sorry, I was drunk. Sorry, ma'am. I rolled my eyes and got on Final Fantasy XIV to chat with my FC friends. All of us talked about what we did on New Year's and what our plans were for the day. I started to talk with people in the RP link shell at the same time and told them I was interested in playing Dark Knight. Yeah, that guy was not drunk, man. He was just making up an excuse because he didn't want to feel rejected. McCree immediately replies in the link shell to meet up with him at his FC house so he can teach me Dark Knight. I still don't know why I listened to him. I guess I still considered him my friend even after I rejected him. I think OP felt a little bad, so she's like, let's still try to keep things cool, and yeah, sure, I'll go to his house so it's not so awkward that she rejected him the night before. I teleported to his FC house and noticed people were there. A few of his friends were all sitting in the yard, and McCree asked me to start hitting a training dummy. I got confused. I know nothing about tanking and Dark Knight abilities. He started berating me in front of his friends for not knowing any abilities and combos. You see this red around me? You don't know what that is? He kept yelling at me and saying I was being dumb. I felt embarrassed and humiliated. Yes, I was still so new and had so much to learn. Their friends kept laughing and making fun of me for not knowing tank stance. Was he role-playing this with me? He wasn't even saying the ability names. He kept describing the abilities like roleplay. This red power, this is from the void, he said. I don't know what that means, much less how it functions in game. I put away my weapon, ran far to escape the dummy aggro, and teleported to my house. Oh my goodness, I love, like, you can really tell she's new because she didn't even know how to right click and take away the aggro from the dummy. She ran super far before she could leave. I even left the roleplay link shell, then logged out. I sat there feeling my anxiety overwhelming me and laid in my bed. Then I used my remaining energy to get on Tumblr and block McCree. I spent the rest of the evening talking to my friends about everything that happened and drew away to get my mind off of it. If he managed to get his friends to listen, would he tell others in the link shell community also? Will I lose this opportunity to make new friends? The next day, I was alone in Lower La Nausea near the lighthouse and fishing to calm my nerves. I got a tell from one of the RP link shell moderators. He reached out to me asking what happened last night. I told him everything that happened with McCree. Then they added someone to our party. We all met in Idleshire, and they both told me the story behind McCree. I learned that he stalked the third person in our party. Her name was Leah. She told me that McCree said a lot of negative things about me in her FC chat. That I used him and other reasons like selling the gear he gave me. Other people believed him, and I started to get anxious that the rest of the link shell members looked at me the same way. Oh, he was saying so much crap about her. When he gave her those as gifts, she could do whatever she wants with it. Even if she sold it, it doesn't matter. And the weird thing is he told her to sell it too. She told me McCree has always had obsessive behavior. Her experience was the same as mine. By the sounds of it, it was a recurring issue. He kept seeking a relationship with only female aura players. Leah is also a female Rain. She was worried when all the attention shifted to me, but didn't know how to approach me about it. Leah is very timid and soft-spoken too. Thinking back, he kept a close watch on my search info each time I changed, even standing at my house until I was online. I thought about him and his friends crowding around me yesterday. Maybe it was to get back at me. That sounds like a dumb high school scenario, doesn't it? Honestly, I don't think it's so far-fetched. I think the OP might be onto like a good theory that he probably felt really embarrassed that he laid it all out there, his feelings, and and what you said cut him deep, or what the OP said cut him deep, basically saying, nope, I don't want to be in a relationship, I just want to be friends. So it just feels like the next day, if he's like treating her like that in front of his friends, that feels like the OP's onto something, that maybe he was getting back at her. The mod said he kicked McCree out of their link shell, and Leah's FC was considering kicking him too. But McCree and his friends thought their treatment was unfair. They all decided to move to another server, and I was welcomed back into the RP link shell. Leah and the moderators became my longtime cherished friends to this very day. I thought all that went down there was absolutely ridiculous. Over the years, I grew distant from the game. I'm an old veteran player now. I'm learning to come back to the game as a digital artist creator and looking forward to meeting new players again. I'm still progressing through Endwalker. I hope I can catch up with everyone very soon. Final Fantasy XIV will always have a special place in my heart. A reminder to all, this game brings a lot of different people together. It took me a while to understand that I'm content with being humble and that I will continue loving the game as a game. The end. So what do we learn from this story? Don't be a female aura. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm a female aura. No, but really, like, how do people just go like, I love you? And they just like met this random character in game. Like, what are you really confessing your love to? Like, this is a stranger. They sound like they're obsessed with like female auras and just falling in love with the female aura. It's weird, right? It's like, so you want to be with them because they're only a female aura. That's it. You don't even know them as a person. Do you know like, it's like kind of like those real life people who are like, who say like, my type is Asian woman, and you're like, so you just date them because they're just Asian and you don't even know them as a person? It's a little scary because you're like, you start thinking like, are they only dating me because of my race? So it is an odd one. But yeah, people shouldn't say like, I love you like that fast. They don't know the person. It's weird. Don't be strange and weird like that. Oh, and he stalked her. Oh my god. Let's not forget that he stalked her so hard. Like, the player doesn't look like their avatar. Exactly. We don't look like our avatars. I mean, we try to dress like our avatars sometimes. Because there's casual clothing in this game. Sometimes we try to make it dress like us, but we don't look like them. Don't add people to your friend list so easily. Well, that's a really tough one, because we all add people easily onto our list because we're so trusting and we're so welcoming. We don't want to, it's offensive also if someone sends you a friend request and you're like, deny. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to hurt their feelings, but then finding out that they end up being crazy or a stalker or strange or a weirdo later down the road, SE just needs to fix their friends list system. That's all it is. Yeah. But I understand that it has made people like more cautious with adding people because how the delete system in this game is so bad. Let me know in the comments below what you thought about this Final Fantasy XIV drama story. If you have any of your own drama stories that you'd like me to share and read out anonymously, feel free to reach out to my Discord, discord.gg/Pathra. And a big thank you to my kind members who support my YouTube content.